Let's speak to Cornelia Meyer. She's an oil and gas specialist. She's joining us from Bern in Switzerland. Thanks very much for joining us on the Aljazeera NewsHour. So Greece is not the only country that's eyeing exploration in that area. Give us a sense of how big the reserves are and how significant the entire area is.
Well, the area for the Eastern Mediterranean, it's significant, but we're talking more about gas than about oil. And if I look at, it's about 120 trillion cubic feet (TCF) that we have there. And if you compare that, if you take together the biggest people with the biggest reserves, which is Russia, Iran, and Qatar, it's about 3.3% of that. But that doesn't mean it's insignificant. And you look at Egypt has really started to become again a net exporter. They have started LNG facilities. Israel has done things with its gas, and there is a pipeline plan from Cyprus to the processing sites in Egypt. But whereas this can be very useful and it certainly helps countries like Greece to be more energy independent, it's still, compared to the big gas reserves in the world, it's very minor, and infrastructure is very expensive. Also, the political side is not that easy.
Which is what I wanted to ask you about, right?
The Cyprus issue.
Exactly. The political complexities, like the battle over who develops natural gas, as well as disagreements over maritime territory. How much does that sort of hamper development plans?
It absolutely hampers development plans, because you look at Cyprus, where the position of Cyprus is not yet resolved. There is the Greek Cypriot side and the Turkish side not getting along, especially about gas. There is Greece and Turkey. There is very markedly Israel and Lebanon. So if you look at all of this, it takes billions to develop this infrastructure, be it LNG, liquefaction, facilities, or the pipeline. The pipeline from Cyprus to Egypt is supposed to cost about $6 billion. If I'm an oil company, before I put in that amount of investment, I need to make sure my production is not going to be held up in skirmishes.
For Europe, though, how important is this Eastern Mediterranean region for it?
I would say for Europe, for Greece, it's nice. And for the rest of Europe and the Baltic states and so on, it's a nice to have, but not a necessary. And obviously, there is, especially when it comes to gas, there's the big debate on how dependent Europe is on Russian gas. So it's an alternative to Russian gas. There are the sanctions on Iran, which sort of make less gas flow from Iran into Europe. So it's a nice addition, but it's not something that would give Europe energy security. It may give Greece, which is a relatively small economy, some bit of energy security. It certainly gives Cyprus energy security. It helps Egypt because they can export, and it gives them foreign currency revenue. But other than that, I mean, it's not a major thing. Let's not forget, 120 trillion cubic feet is 3.3% of what's in the ground in Iran, Russia, and Qatar.
Okay, we got it. Thank you, Cornelia Meyer. Good to speak with you on the Aljazeera NewsHour. Thank you.
Thank you very much.